Hey guys, big market update. We just closed the second highest gain in history in the stock market. Bitcoin, crypto, everything is pumping. It's in green. And I want to talk about why this is happening and what you need to do, what you need to watch out for in the next 24 to 48 hours, because potential for life-changing gains over the past few weeks, where we've been in price and potentially where we could go. So if you look, stock markets are green, crypto is green. What's going on? That specifically is Donald Trump. And he basically, after all the Trump tariff scare, he came out and said a 90-day pause on tariffs. He has authorized a 90-day pause and substantially lowered reciprocal tariffs during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. And after that, the markets jumped. If you want to go ahead and take a look at just how much, you can look at the S&P 500 surge 1% without news. That's from likely insiders, as there's always people who know the news before it happens that get in. But after the announcement, Trump and the 90-day tariff pause, you had a surge in the market. And at the close, $4 trillion added to the stock market alone. Bitcoin up 7% currently as well too. This is good, and why we focus so much, or we talk about the stock market and bring that up, even though a lot of what I talk about is crypto and Bitcoin, is because it matters. Bitcoin is correlated with the stock market. So you have to talk about it. If the stock market pumps, typically Bitcoin's going to pump with it. Now, naturally, we know that Bitcoin can pump outside of the stock market. Fundamentally hard money, a lot of good things with crypto, but we do want to bring that into consideration every time we talk. But bottom line, $4 trillion added, the second largest gain in NASDAQ history, which is massive. Yesterday, I put out a video this week talking about three big events that were going to impact markets. One specifically was the FOMC minutes. The Fed really didn't say much to change the market. It was all the tariff 90-day pause that caused this pump. In the next 48 hours, we're going to see what CPI, Consumer Price Index, we're going to see what inflation is doing in the market, as well as the jobless data. If those two things are good for the markets, if it's not a hot print, if the CPI and inflation comes down lower than expected, expect the markets to likely continue to rally. So that is the big news at the moment. That's what I'm going to watch out for in the next 24 hours. That's going to happen, I think, around 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. The CPI, the jobless data, that's going to come out in less than 24 hours, and something that you want to look for. If you're watching this and it's that day already, if it's post CPI, just know that if the markets are coming in with inflation down, understand that's likely going to continue to run here for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin came down. Now, what we're looking at is, of course, I talked about layering in buys from 76K down to 73 to 72K into this buy zone. Now, of course, price didn't hit where we wanted to exactly, but if you could nibble in under 80K, you're up big right now. And so as far as that goes, I drew this line here, this trend line, because Bitcoin is still in a downtrend. The daily has still closed in a downtrend, but this is potentially an opportunity for change. If the CPI, the inflation data, the jobless data comes back good in the next day or two, then the next day or two, we can see the market actually rally to new higher highs on the close, and hopefully that leads to higher lows as well. So we could see a potential trend change right here. We want to keep an eye on it. Of course, with the intraday, the 4-hour looks good. Any break above 85 to 87K will likely lead us back up here to 92 to 93K. And really, it comes down to what happens tomorrow with the strength of the stock market. Will it continue up? Because currently it's looking good. Now, not only are we going to look at the stock market, yes, as I've said earlier in the past few weeks, I'm not looking at altcoins until I think things start to change around, but it's important to go ahead and take a look because ETH BTC is up. So showing that because of the massive downtrend in altcoins and in crypto over the past 3 months, things are oversold. People are going to be looking to buy into things. People are going to be looking for those deals. And so something like Solana is already up from $100 to it hit over 120. So, something like that, that's up 20%, something that is showing strength. And that's specifically what we want to look out for, is these strength opportunities. So if you're watching any of the major altcoins and there is strength and it's showing strength while Bitcoin stays sideways, and perhaps maybe Bitcoin goes sideways and maybe the stocks slightly go up, but they're not pulling back anymore. But typically when you see Bitcoin go sideways, altcoins tend to rally often. So we may see more liquidity, more volume into altcoins. Look for those that are showing strength against Bitcoin. Oftentimes you can go to TradingView, put in the actual ticker of the altcoin against BTC and see how it's doing. And as you can see here, Solana has a nice spike right here. But as we've seen in the past, this has been in a downtrend. Solana has been strong against Bitcoin several times before today. And this could be yet another, I don't want to say fake out, but yet another disappointment if it cannot continue to get higher on this trend or break this downtrend right here. So that's what I'm looking for as well too for Solana. One thing that you can do is not only look at the USD charts, but you can also look at the altcoin pairs against Bitcoin. If they are outperforming Bitcoin, if there's green in those charts, then yes, it's showing strength. Then yes, it's potentially a good time to nibble or slowly dollar cost average in some of these, especially if we think that the market is going to turn around. Again, as far as the cutting of rates, we know that's going to be a massive impact on Bitcoin, on crypto, and on stock markets. And if we can continue to see inflation hold down, currently with the Truflation Index at 1.34%, which is down, if we can continue to see this go down, then yes, there is a high probability of rate cuts in June from the Federal Reserve, meaning that more liquidity will go into the market, more money will flow into risk assets, into stocks, into Bitcoin, into crypto, into these altcoins that we're in. So just understand that this is a good leeway as we get into that. April could be the bottom. And again, not knowing what's going to happen. Donald Trump can open his mouth, President Trump can open his mouth, and everything can change. He is very volatile as far as when it comes to his announcements. I'm not saying personally, but I'm just saying overall, he can really make the markets go up and down 10, 15, 20% within a day, just based on what he says. So just understand that there's always risk involved when it comes to having this type of personality as a president. But all in all, things are looking good. If we have a 90-day delay in tariffs, now what's going to happen in 90 days? We'll wait and look at that, because I think that the market needs to rebound regardless. It's been down substantially over the past few months. And so if this downtrend can break, then I think we're going to see some upside here, not only with Bitcoin, but with some altcoins and of course continue with stock. But where I'm getting to is that if June, if that's going to happen, if the Fed cuts rates, understand that's going to be front run regardless. People know what's going to happen ahead of time. And if the market is green in May, it's probably a good sign that's going to happen. But I do think that it does happen. Therefore, this time in Bitcoin is a fantastic time. If you're waiting for confirmation, potentially a daily break in the downtrend could happen soon. And if that happens, then I think that that was the potential bottom as far as 74 to 75K. So that's massive news. I just wanted to go ahead and break a quick video, not edited very much, but just really breaking down and talking about what's going on in the market, what's important, what you want to watch for, and understanding that this could be the start of a reversal of an uptrend. So if you want more information, as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to follow me, and you want to make sure that you turn on notifications, because stuff like this can happen. Big changes can happen in the market really at any moment. And I'm going to make sure to put out a video and talk about my thoughts on it. And what I'm currently doing is, I bought a little bit more Bitcoin. I'm going to nibble in a little bit into some Solana and some major altcoins. That's my goal right now, because I think that with this bullishness in the tariff news, if we see positive CPI data, then I think the market's going to continue uptrend. And don't be shocked if we see Bitcoin go from the low 80Ks here to the high 80Ks here in the following few days. So with that said, you guys make sure to trade safe. Have a great day. Make sure that you're locked in as far as having notifications on for the video, and I'll see you on the next one.